Hi, this is Lisa, and you are listening to I Love That Movie. This podcast is for movie lovers. It's not an unbiased opinion, it's not a straightforward review, it's just a couple people talking about a movie that they love. The format is each week I have a guest, and that guest and I discuss a movie that they love, something they're obsessed with, something they connect with. We'll talk about the plot, the director, and the actors, but we'll also talk about the personal connection my guest has with that movie. So if that sounds like something you want to listen to, keep listening.
Hello, and thank you for listening. You can catch up with me on Twitter at ILTM Podcast. You can also catch up with me on Instagram at I Love That Movie Podcast. And we have a Patreon. Show is always free, but if you want to support us on there, you can. That's just at patreon.com/. I love that movie. And if you sign up, you get a weekly bonus episode with just everything else I'm watching besides what we cover on the show. We have a lot of fun on there. But anyway, I want to highlight that we have some returning guests on the podcast graciously coming back on. We've got the Maki Horror Picture Show, and I will go ahead and turn it over to Danny and the team to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Danny Gallagher, and I'm the co-founder and one of the movie mockers with the Maki Horror Picture Show, Dallas's only live interactive movie mocking comedy show, returning to the Texas Theater for the movie we're going to talk about today, Jack Frost, which we're going to do on December 29th at 7, which is a Sunday, which we're really excited about because it's a prime spot right between Christmas and New Year's, and it's one of our best shows. So there.
I'm Liz Barksdale. I'm the other co-founder and another mocker. Um, I do nothing else creatively these days. These guys probably have other things, if there's a plug section, but I do not.
I'm Albie Robles. I am a mocker with Maki Horror Picture Show. I also am a voice actor and host of the Scare Me podcast.
Thank you all so much. I enjoy having you back again. Great to
Yeah.
support, a local group. And plus, I am a comedy nerd, as I've told you all before. So really glad to have y'all back.
Thank
Um,
you.
Yes, and this format, if you're just listening, it's a little bit different from our typical show. Normally, we have one guest, they pick a movie that they love, we talk about it. We're doing this a little bit in reverse, so I don't know if we're going to go into spoilers today or not because we're plugging their live show. But if you're still listening, I'm going to go ahead and read the summary of Jack Frost real quick, and then we'll kind of go into it from there. All right, so this movie came out in 1998. And here is the summary. As a touring musician clinging to dreams of stardom, aging rocker Jack Frost never had much time for his wife Gabby and young son Charlie. A year after Jack's tragic death in a car accident on Christmas Day, Charlie plays a mournful tune on his father's harmonica. Much to his surprise, the elder Frost is magically brought back to life as a snowman on the family lawn. Given a second chance, Charlie and Jack struggle to make up for lost time.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, my initial thought to that description is this movie's depressing. I think it's
Oh God, yes.
needlessly depressing.
Even before the
Yeah.
car accident, it's like they're
Yeah.
so obviously setting up that he's coming back, that
What
he's gonna
year was it
die.
from
1998.
again? 1998. Okay. Yeah, because I think I was 16 that year, and I remember seeing the ad and like just like is is this supposed to be heartwarming? This seems tragic
Mm-hmm.
and wrong. But yeah, it's I guess you could say it's heartwarming. I don't know. Albie's the parent with the children who like it, so
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Let's punt it to you, man.
Oh,
my
I didn't know
kids,
that the boys like it.
oh, they love this movie.
Oh, well, now I feel really bad.
Oh, not at all, not at all. They love the riff also,
Yeah, no,
when I
Okay.
did
that's
when I
great if they
first
like the
told them
movie and
that
the
we were
riff.
doing this movie, their first Charlie immediately said why. Because they really do, they just like it a lot, but they did enjoy the riff a lot, and they're looking forward to seeing it again. But yeah, it is I'm one that always I'm always a sucker for like emotional stuff in movies. I fall right into it all. So for a movie like this where it's so, I guess, surface level, I have to say I still feel the little moments, but it's like, I don't know. I don't think it's because it's good. I think it's just my brain has been wired at this point to react to all the stuff that movies do in this. So I think I'm responding to the the way the music's set up. It's hard to describe. It's like a Pavlov thing that I'm used to responding in such a way to that type of music and that type of setting, because while I respond to it, I don't think it's good.
Maybe it's your kids like to watch it, so you have to find
Possibly.
something to like about it to
Yeah.
endure it again. I didn't know the boys liked this movie. Now
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm canceling it.
They're
No, no.
no,
I
they,
think that's
Aw.
a compliment. Like if like especially as young as they
I
are, like the I like the riff. I like the movie a lot, but I still liked your riff. They didn't stomp out or anything.
oh yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I guess that's the problem is maybe it's geared towards kids, but it wasn't marketed as a kids
It's marketed as a
movie.
family's movie,
It's marketed
right?
as like a whole
for,
family
for
can
the whole
enjoy.
family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the Santa Claus,
Which
movie.
I
But
guess before Pixar, family movie meant like kids will like it and we'll take them to it and endure it.
pretty
Mhm.
much.
And probably the parents won't like it.
And then Pixar spoiled us by making
Right.
the movies great.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think was ever going to be possible, to be honest. I like growing up, what in the 80s and 90s, like every movie was either like a kids movie or a grown up movie. There's never a movie that was meant for both.
Yeah, I think too there was a certain age that I was at where I couldn't tell you that a movie was good or bad. Like I didn't
Yeah.
know. I remember loving that movie Rockadoodle, and I remember my dad going, "I really don't enjoy this. This is bad." And I was like, "I wonder why he doesn't like it." And then when I tried to watch it as a teenager, I was like, "Oh, this is awful." Like,
Right.
there's an age where you kind of don't really notice stuff like that. But another thing that's interesting about this film though is that when I mentioned it to my husband, the first thing he said was, "Oh, Jack Frost the horror movie," because
Yeah.
that came out 1 year prior to this movie
Right.
Right.
about a mutant killer snowman, which is interesting that they would make a heartwarming version of it. That's
Well, I
just-
think it was so, and I forget who said it. I think Albie, you said that Sam Raimi was supposed to direct this.
Oh.
That's what I'm actually confirming now to see if that was
Yeah, and that's
that
true.
was a. Oh,
I
did
pulled
you
up-
look that up? Okay,
Uh,
yeah, it's crazy.
Whatchamacallit? Sam Raimi was supposed to direct it, and George Clooney was supposed to play Jack Frost.
But instead it was directed by Troy Miller.
Troy Miller, who I immediately recognized as someone from Mr. Show on HBO. A
And he
show that
also-
like I have memorized, like I've watched it 20
Mr.
I
years.
Show,
love
yeah,
Mr.
it's
Show.
amazing.
Well, there's an actor from Mr. Show in this movie.
There's like 800 actors
Oh,
from
really?
Mr. Show in this movie.
It's a weird little Easter egg hunt you can do. if
Yeah.
you're a
Yeah.
Mr. Show fan.
I
There's one
recognize
joke.
at least one.
There's one joke that doesn't land, but I insist on keeping it in, which is when Jay Johnston shows up as a weatherman. And I don't know if you know what Jay Johnston has gone through in the last couple of years. Am I
Mhm.
spoiling this for you?
No, it's okay.
Oh, Jay Johnston. Oh God, I'm gonna bring the whole thing down. Jay Johnston was at the Capitol on January 6th.
No way. Oh my
And-
God. Horrible.
And it came out in the worst. I don't mean to laugh at the because it's such a tragic event, even if you don't agree with, like, it's just such a horrible thing. But the way everybody found out was the FBI released a photo of him, and the entire internet went, "That's Jay Johnston. that's Sammy Pesto from Bob's
Yeah.
Burgers. Like everybody recognized
Oh,
him.
okay.
Which-
I guess I didn't realize those were one and the same person. Okay.
And very shortly
Yes.
after that, he was no longer Sammy Pesto on
Yes,
Bob's
he
Yeah.
got
Burgers.
fired.
I
like,
mean, understandably, like, don't want to
He
be
just got-
connected to controversial things.
yeah, yeah.
he just got sentenced to a year in prison, which means he'll probably do
Wow.
6-8 months. But to me, again, I don't mean to laugh at tragedy, but the friggin' FBI didn't know who he was.
That
And
is
it's
kind
just
of
something like doubly sad about that. Like they
Yeah.
couldn't like pull up IMDb and like do
I
it like.
know.
Oh gosh.
But yeah,
Oof.
he's in it. John Ennis is in it. Paul F. Tompkins is in the very one of the early
That's
scenes.
right. Isn't he's like the guitarist or something, right?
No, he's like in the
Or-
crowd.
He's in the
Oh,
crowd
he's,
for like
he's like the
a
producer
second.
that's discovering him or something.
Yeah, he's
Or,
not
or
there
the
very
owner of the
long.
club or something. Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a ton of others.
By
I
the way,
noticed when I looked
love
up-
that.
yeah, go ahead.
I love so much that they're singing this Christmas song at their band. That's just a pretty blues standardy sounding song. It's very typical, and that the producer in the crowd is like, "Oh my gosh, we have
Yes,
got to
yes.
sign these guys
That's
now."
so,
They're
yeah,
not
yeah.
everybody
This scene from like Back to the Future, you know, like
Yeah.
Yes,
they're acting
exactly.
like this is a seminal event, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but a guy that happens to be named Jack Frost in this corny band and this kind of terrible song. Like, I
It's just
don't picture
typical-
anyone seeing that
It's
and
just
thinking it's
You hear these
Bluesy
guys
Frosty
at any
the
bar you go to
Snowman,
in
right?
December.
Thought that
I
was
wish
funny.
I wish they'd expand on the agent. We learned he's like the Michael Ovitz of dad jam Christmas bands or
Right?
something.
Yeah, I'm like, we're supposed to think this is cool. Like, I don't know that the.
I mean,
they
I don't know
established
if-
he's
I-
an aging rock star.
I
you know?
don't know Michael Keaton's musicianship, and I'm sure if he has musical talent, I'm sure he's good, but they don't set him up to be.
Well, harmonicas really had a moment, I think, in the 90s,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Like
true.
when I think of harmonicas, I think of like Bruce Willis and his harmonica for a
Mm.
while. Like, I don't know,
Mhm.
there just seemed
Blues
to be
Traveler,
a thing.
like kind of wrecked the curve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he really upped the ante on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's why. But yeah, it's directed by Troy Miller, who I think of for, Flight of the Conchords, Arrested Development.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Why not make this funnier then? Like it almost feels like maybe you could overlook how tragic it is if it was a little bit more humorous, but there's some humor, but I just feel like not enough to offset how sad it is that their father dies in this car accident on Christmas Day. I think that's challenging to offset.
I suspect part of it was they had Clooney and Raimi lined up, and maybe it was
yeah.
going to go in because Raimi was around this time around in kind of a drama
Mm.
pitch. I mean, he's known for. I mean, he's one of my favorite directors. He's Evil Dead and
Yeah, he's incredible.
Crime
I mean,
Wave.
for them to write
and
the script that he was happy with, like this was going
Right.
to be a very different.
Well,
movie.
apparently
Oh,
maybe
I
he wasn't
see.
happy
Okay.
with it because he left very late. It says he came on board the project very late in the game.
Well, so much
Troy
so
Miller
that
did.
that Jim
So maybe they didn't have
Henson's
time to go back and make it a comedy or a better comedy.
Yeah, that makes sense. I read that, because of that, because George Clooney was attached, Jim Henson's Creature Shop modeled the snowman after George Clooney, and there wasn't even enough time to like make it look like Michael Keaton, although I don't think it looks like either of them. So
That's
part was
weird,
strange
yeah.
to me,
I
but
see the
don't know.
Clooney a little bit. I do see the Clooney.
Where?
A little bit.
Again.
Huh?
Yeah, I
Where do
don't
you
see it.
I'm
but
curious.
okay.
No, I'm curious where you see it.
I think just in the
I
general.
don't mean that sarcastically. I'm
No, no.
genuinely want to know.
It was one of those things that once they said it, and I'm looking for it, I thinking that basic expressions and movement. The face is it's like as if they had done a snowman prosthetic over Clooney.
You're talking about an animation, not in
Like
puppetry.
he's
Okay.
like, yeah, right. It's like imagine that if they were to make a George Clooney armature that it would be underneath there, like kind of like when they made the animatronic of Hillary Clinton, thinking she was going to win, and Trump won, and they had to make his animatronic instead, and you can see that it's her face underneath that. It still looks like her. It's very eerie. Look this up if you haven't.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
but
that.
it's
I see
something
what you're saying,
underneath. It's the underneath. I think the Like the armature construction is what they made look like it.
I'm just laughing thinking about how we're talking about Jack Frost, and I feel like we keep flirting with political topics around it.
It
Oh,
just keeps
yeah.
pulling you back in.
Yeah, we're like
trying to get
January
away.
6th drunk. I don't know. It's kind of funny, but
It is kind of funny.
I think I don't know. I feel that George Clooney's energy is so different from Michael Keaton. I almost think maybe the movie would have worked better with that because George Clooney has like this charm and look to him that Michael Keaton doesn't have. I feel that Michael Keaton, and I say this as a Michael Keaton fan, okay?
Yeah,
Like
totally.
one of my favorite Batman, but he and George Clooney was not. But I think that
Oh, yeah, that's
Michael
right.
Keaton brings, yeah, two Batmans. He brings like this. I mean, he was Beetlejuice. I don't see
He's
George
manic.
Clooney. Yeah, so it
Mm.
just makes it a little weird, I think, like for him to be the dad in the movie. But I don't know. It was also a time of like, I think, your Christian Slaters, and I don't know. It's just he has a different energy. I don't know where I'm going with that, but it
Oh
just
man, I want to see a Jack Frost with Christian Slater.
but
You
the
can keep the
snowman, they
same
should have
eyebrows
just
and it will work.
right. And honestly, Michael Keaton has those eyebrows. They should have done that to the snowman, and then it would have looked like him.
Oh, they did. I mean, that's the one thing they changed. Is that they put on the Keaton eyebrows.
Okay,
on him.
let me look at a picture.
So
Maybe I
pull
need
them
to
up.
see it again.
Pull
Putting
them up.
on the Keaton eyebrow.
That's the
Oh yeah,
one-
you're right. They're
that's
slightly
the Keaton
arched.
thing they did.
Yeah, they just added a little arch to it. They just kind of pushed him up. But yeah, I don't know. That's to me, that's what one of the problems I have, I guess, with his casting is like it just he's not like a heartwarming dude, you know?
It's
There's a
just
movie
very
where he
tonally
was.
odd, the whole
Yeah.
thing.
There has to be a movie where he played well, I guess Spotlight, but that was more drama than anything else.
Well, he did. There was that drama that was really widely recognized. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a My Life.
Oh yeah, but he started out as a jerk though, kind of.
That's true. That's true. Well, I think
I'm sure he can play that part. He's given nothing to work with.
Yeah, I think he did fine. I think the problems with the script, and his dialogue, like it's in voiceover. I've been given dialogue before that is just horrendous, and it's kind of a weird exercise to try to get a real reading on it when it's
Yeah,
like nobody would say this way, and
that's
sometimes I have to do dramatic readings of bad translations, and that's very strange feeling. I remember one time getting called out on I did a voice for a video game, and the guy laughed at because I was talking very seriously, and I was watching this guy do a playthrough, and it's this general saying all these really mean things right before he tries to kill you. He's the guardian of that level, and at the end of it, he goes, "So you come here, I'm gonna kick your butt." And this gamer laughed at him saying "your butt" because it just did not fit this guy. Sometimes you just have to do the best with what you have to work with.
Mhm.
I mean, that's fair. I also think the snowman's very creepy looking, which I
Yes.
read that in reviews as well. So I think that's also hard when the puppet itself is not as endearing as like other characters.
Yes, I think Roger Ebert called it the single most horrifying creature he'd ever seen in a movie,
Harsh, but
and he watched Carnosaur,
Oh my
Um,
gosh, Carnosaur.
which is a great movie in my opinion. Anyway,
I don't think I've seen that, but
it's kind of a Jurassic Park offshoot that went gorier.
oh.
It was famously a Siskel and Ebert review that, like, I think Siskel loved it and Ebert hated it. And the other one is Ebert loved Cop and a Half and Siskel hated it. They're both like, how can you like this movie?
I
Yeah.
do want us to do the other Jack Frost sometime, and like maybe sometime next Christmas or a couple Christmases from now, find a venue that'll let us do a Jack Frost double feature, because that would be amazing.
There's a
The
couple of scenes that are like key that I don't know how we would do. I don't mean to cut you off on this idea
that's-
because it is a
Maybe we could figure. There's also the other Jack Frost, which is the Mystery Science Theater one that
Oh,
they
yeah.
did. The Russo finished production. That was my favorite. That's like
Yeah.
a fairy
I don't
tale
think I
Baba
remember
Yaga.
that.
Tell me about that
Oh
one.
my
I
gosh.
haven't
Yeah.
seen
Crazy.
that. You've seen that one. I haven't seen that one.
It's well, I guess it's kind of cool looking, but it's like very fairy tale-esque, and it has like I didn't know this as like a dumb teenager in the 90s, but like Baba Yaga, that Russian witch character, and her house is on chicken legs or something. So if you're seeing it without knowing it, you're just like, what the heck is this? This is weird and Russian, and but maybe it's beloved over there. I don't know. It's a better movie than
Then
than
this one.
Jack Frost, really.
Yeah, yeah. I think this movie, again, like I enjoy watching it now because of things like this, honestly, like covering it, riffing it. But it's still like, again, I think the premise of it is just still it's dark. And I
It's
just there's no
disturbing.
reason why he had to die. Like, couldn't this movie just be he's the snowman and then he turns back into himself when he's a good dad or whatever?
Yes,
Like
yes.
that
Like
would
Just
have been
watching
fine.
him melt as he like goes across the parking lot is extremely disturbing too, because that's like his
Mhm.
body.
Sorry.
That it's
Yeah.
ugh.
I was trying to think of other Christmas movies where like a parent figure dies and then just goes away completely and comes back for a while, and I can't think of any.
There was
And I've watched lots of depressing movies, so I don't know.
there's a it's a Disney movie. It's one of those lesser known Disney movies, I think. Like One
Well, it's
Fine
not a big
Christmas.
trope.
No,
Yeah,
it's not a big
yeah,
trope, but I remember
yeah.
it
There's got to be some others
I
out
gotta
there,
look
but
it
you know
up.
what I
well, I
mean?
mean, it's
It's
the
a
Yeah.
ones
Mary
where the
it's a
parent
Mary
dies but not
Steenburgen
coming back.
movie. What's that?
Yeah, just like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that there are movies where like someone where a parent will die or whatever, and they spend the whole
Yeah.
Christmas trying to deal with it. But yeah, not with them coming back.
I
Like
remember
it go,
I
yeah.
do remember this one. One Magic Christmas with Mary Steenburgen. She plays like a single mom who's working two jobs, and her husband literally gets shot and killed in a bank at Christmas.
Oh God.
And I remember seeing this
Oh
as a
my
kid.
God.
Gosh.
And then the daughter goes to the North Pole to meet Santa, who is like this weirdly sweet but kind of creepy Norwegian version of Santa.
Oh.
And somehow that brings the dad back to life. Like Kenny from South Park style. He just shows up
No.
again and nobody remembers that he got shot. It's this
That's
it's
bizarre.
I feel
you
like
watch
we should
this
be
and that and you can see why this didn't become a trope.
Well, and I feel
Yeah.
like we're misusing Santa. If he can bring people back from the dead, I think
Yeah.
maybe focus
Right.
on that and not the gifts so much, like
Don't
why
bring me
not?
a
Yeah.
sled, dude.
I don't remember how the dad came back to life if Santa was involved or if it was
God, that
just
movie
like
sounds like a fever
it's
dream or
it's
something.
It really
really
does. It
like
doesn't sound
depressing.
real.
No,
That's
but
so
I'm sorry. My
funny.
point was like what
Oh,
Lisa
I'm
was
sorry.
saying. There's better ways to frame this than
Yeah,
like how did they come up with this framing? It's so odd.
it's very odd. It's like,
Yeah.
and,
Well,
and to compound so many things, like he dies on Christmas Day, literally coming back to see his family. I honestly
The
don't
next
really
Christmas, they has
the
to
next
wait a whole
Christmas, yeah,
year.
it's a year of mourning.
A year's
to
passed.
wait a year. Yeah, and also I don't really like that trope in movies. I mean, it's fine. There's many movies that I love that have this like Hook and stuff like that, but the husbands are painted as such evil people just for having a job, like
Yeah, yeah.
that's fair
Don't
either.
spend
Like,
enough time with your family. Da, da,
Well,
da.
especially like in
That was
this
a big
case where
trope for a
this was
long
like
time.
this was gonna be like his like they were
Like his big
fame. They
recording
were gonna
contract.
get
Yeah,
ended.
fame. They were
yeah.
gonna get money. Like they were going to rise. Like this was it. This was the break that you wait for. Come on, dude. You can miss
Which
one
the guy's like, he
Christmas.
knows the rich
Miss
guy's like,
one
he knows
Christmas,
it's
and you
Christmas.
can really provide awesome stuff for your family after that, and you can bring the kid on tour for you on summers, and
Right.
and and then you can schedule concerts whenever you want because you're calling the shots. Like,
Oh,
yeah, like
yeah.
take this Christmas off, dude. And also, he died going back, so it would have
That's right,
been
yeah.
He
fine
should've
if
just
he'd
gone
just
there.
gone. just
And
go.
That's right, because
And
he
it's a
drives up
little
with his
thing.
band and then
Yeah,
like, I gotta
and
go back home. So he goes
his
by
band
himself.
doesn't care either. Like it could have been
Yeah.
huge for their lives too. It's just a small thing, but they're like, yeah, whatever. It's Christmas. Go home. That
Fun.
just
yeah,
suddenly
the band
bothering
should have
me a
been like,
lot.
bro, we're all gonna lose
Yeah.
a huge opportunity.
You're
Yes.
screwing all of us, dude.
Right.
We have families
like-
too. Yeah.
I just love that every Christmas movie where something tragic and then magical happens on Christmas could have been solved. Like, well, we could have met on the 26th.
Yeah.
That's what I
Wednesdays.
do every year. Like my brother and sister can't be in the same place at the same time every Christmas. We wait a day. They make
Unacceptable.
it fine. They don't come back as a
Yeah.
Christmas angel or whatever the hell's coming
Yeah, by
up
this
next.
movie's logic, you would
Right.
die coming back to them. So even when you realize your mistake, you're still punished. Like there's just no
And also,
redemption.
there's something weird about he comes back as a snowman. That itself feels like a punishment.
Yes, that's
Yes.
That is
fleshy
like
and-
how dare you besmirch Christmas by working on it? Now I'm going to make you an icon of Christmas. Like what kind
Twisted.
of Greek mythological god comes up with this punishment?
yeah,
This
it's
feels like
evil.
a punishment to me. This doesn't feel like, oh, I'm going to give
Right,
Charlie.
if you're looking at it in
one
terms of
more
like
chance.
he's in heaven or whatever, and he's like, "What? Back to Earth? Are you kidding me?"
Right.
Yeah. Very
That's
strange.
right. He wakes up as a snowman, and there's no. I think he says I'm back, so maybe he realized he was dead.
And to confirm this, though, he comes back, and his very first thing that happens as soon as he's back is he gets hit by a truck. So
Yeah, that's right.
that sets things up for what he's come back to.
You're like
'Cause-
too soon. Like he was killed in a car accident.
Oh, I never put that together.
Oh, I didn't
geez.
even think of that. That's-
Yeah,
It's like
Man, I don't want to get too existential, but like at the end of the movie, he's like, he knows he has to move on.
Mhm.
And sorry, spoilers and all, but like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
he does. But his kid is like, we can
Predictable
move to
also.
Antarctica or a colder climb. If you were Jack Frost, what would you want to do? Would you want to like move with your family to like a colder climate and try to live forever? Or would you want to melt? I don't know. You don't have to answer that. That's
mean,
just that's
well,
a
maybe that's what
thinker
he-
for later.
Shipping would
Yeah.
be a problem.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
That's
true.
true.
I mean, I guess like a refrigerated
I guess
ice
you
truck.
could, yeah,
maybe.
yeah. I guess you could drive it up there.
but there's no train that goes to Antarctica, is there?
Well, there's got to be places where it's
question.
cold enough all year round to you could live in like a walk-in freezer or
Get them up to
something.
Alaska.
I was
Well,
gonna
yeah,
be
just,
dark
like,
and say
have a-
these
just-
days especially there's not
Then it's like he's just living in jail, though. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah.
wouldn't be a great life.
Again, this feels
if
like a
he tried to move
punishment
on.
to me.
Yeah, it's some
Yeah,
kind
it
of
really
horrible
does.
existential punishment. Like, yeah, and that like it's like he's attracted to his wife. There's nothing he can do about it. I think the movie hints at that. Okay, I'll be quiet now.
No, speaking of that a little bit,
Try to
do you
be
notice in this movie that they try to insert some jokes that you're like, wow. Like in the very beginning, his son has that little beef jerky or whatever or what is it that his nose and he goes, oh, I thought this was going to be his hose. And we were like,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that was a
weird.
little joke.
yeah, you're like, huh.
That's why I lean into the Mr. Show thing, because I'm like, I know these
Yeah.
people can write. I know
Well-
Troy Miller knows how to like present a joke.
The,
So
the
I
issue
don't
is
remember who
not
they didn't have Mr.
yeah.
Show's writers.
they're
probably.
handed. They're still, regardless of how good the writer is, they're handing somebody a project last minute and saying,
Yeah,
That's true. That's fair.
completely rewrite it to these specifications. We need to have all these things in it, all these tropes. You need to hit all of these points, and you have 2 weeks. There's only so much you can do.
That's true.
They're
Mhm.
True, this is real.
it's bound to be kind of a shit show,
Yeah, that was an odd joke. Then later, I think the son makes a joke about drinking martinis or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Don't remember that
And,
one.
yeah, that one, I
Yeah.
remember that. Well, and let's not forget Snow Dad better than
Yeah,
No
I was
Dad.
gonna say.
Oh,
Oh, go
my
ahead.
gosh.
Sorry, I stepped
That's the
on
whole
it.
thing.
No,
No, say it.
Hold
I said it
Oh.
right when you said it.
Snow Dad better than No Dad. Terrible, just terrible.
The bully. There's a bully B plot, and the bully learns that his dad is a snowman, and basically reveals that his dad's gone too,
That's why he.
and he's like, "Snowbad's better than no dad." So, like, I couldn't think of a more '90s phrase
Yeah.
to shoehorn into a movie.
Oh God.
They really wanted that to be like a T-shirt, I guess.
That's
they really were
that's on
like,
the
"This is
it's on the
great."
poster for the movie.
And instead, I
Yeah.
literally don't remember that.
Oh, it's awful.
It was like way at the end.
And this
Oh,
bully is
great.
such a piece of crap that they when the kid walks by all depressed, and they're like, "Oh, he's no fun to pick on anymore ever since his dad died." Like that's their
Wow. That's their
their big
motivation.
problem.
Yes.
So he looks like the bully looks like Bart Simpson came to life
He does.
Yeah.
and is like, okay, if he's gonna be a bully, let's make him a real bully. And he's literally like, haha, your dad's dead or something like literal equivalent to that. Like really
Even
just
though
laying
his
into
dad
him.
died, which makes it
But
not make
his dad
sense.
Right.
just
later.
left, or
Oh, he
I
just
don't
left?
know. I don't know. I
What?
don't know the
No,
lore
go
of this
ahead, but
character. Did the bully's
lore.
dad die or leave?
I think he's just
He,
he has a deadbeat dad.
yeah, I
Deadbeat
think
Oh,
dad,
basically,
yeah.
I think he
Yeah.
was gone before
But
he left before he was born. Like he
he's
was like,
also the
I don't
most
want any of your
90s bully ever.
stories.
Like he
Yes,
snowboards
yes.
and he's got the
Yeah.
spiky hair.
Gosh,
It-
you get that great snowboard chase.
Yeah. Oh,
my
that's funny.
God.
Oh my gosh. This movie is I think I do like
We
stuff
added
like
a
that
lot
in it,
to
and this
those.
movie's so bizarre that it's fun to watch even without a riff just because it's such an odd movie. Like that I think it's very unintentionally funny all throughout.
Yeah, I
Keep
can't remember what
surprising
scene
you.
it's in, but I remember saying out loud, "You want to get nuts?" at some point. Like, I just feel that way every time I see Michael Keaton, I guess, but I can't remember what scene it was. But
Does those eyes, those crazy eyes.
yeah, I was like, "You want to get nuts for Christmas?" It was just, it's interesting, but
He
yeah.
doesn't say that line specific, but he says
No,
something
no,
to
no.
the
He says
effect
something
of it.
similar. Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah.
I
He
think I
never
know
says
the
that.
one you mean.
I said it instead. It's like I
No,
just,
I know what you, but he
but
gives
yeah.
off that vibe of like he's gonna fight the Joker.
Yeah. I mean,
But the
as
Joker's not in the
the
movie.
snowman
He just kind of
could
always
be a
has that
character
vibe,
in the
though.
Batman universe. I mean, I don't know.
Hmm.
Like,
I mean, there is one like a cult guy. There's Mr. Freeze.
oh, that's true. So they could team up,
Right.
maybe with the Penguin as well, like a whole theme.
I think I know the line you're talking about though. Where like he gives off that energy.
Yeah, he gives off
Let's
this.
get it on.
Yeah, exactly. It was funny. I also like the snowball fight scene too, that they tried to make seem
the
like it
Buddy
was
the
like
Elf.
Nom or whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
Buddy
So we
Snowball fight,
actually
that was
have
good.
a snowball fight in the theater
Oh,
Yes.
that's great.
during that
Fun.
movie because it's a long scene and it's like
It goes on forever.
it goes on forever and
I get it.
and we're like, well, let's just let him go nuts and just throw snowballs at not real snowballs. We have the little the puffy felt ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you had
Um,
real snow, that would bring a different energy to your show. I don't know that people would
Which-
like that.
The last theater we did it at, I don't want to say the name of it, but just out of respect for the Texas theater, but the last theater we did it at, apparently they had another show where they did a snowball fight in the theater, and they were like, "We need you to tell people, do not throw snowballs at the staff."
Oh wow.
And I was like,
Okay.
"What kind of jerk does that?" I mean, I know they're like they're like felt, they're like soft, like, but like somebody's carrying a tray of like something, and you just throw a snowball at like. Did you think you get points for it?
It
That's who
lands
that
in the clam chowder they're carrying.
I just was like, what kind of jerk did that? That necessitated
this rule.
this
Yeah.
rule?
Yeah.
Like,
That's who those 90s bullies grew up to be. That's
Yeah,
the,
that's
like,
true.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
They invited them.
It's just a prank crowd.
Maybe it's like pocket sandwich theater, where they encourage you to
Oh,
throw
that's true.
popcorn at everybody, including the staff, and maybe I don't know.
Where they
they
have
got
you throw
confused.
pocket sandwiches all around.
Sounds tasty. Well, what are some other facts that you have about the movie that you wanted to discuss, or
Oh, the actual so this is a puppet. It's a Jim Henson puppet.
Mhm.
Jim Henson did a lot of stuff for a lot of bad movies.
Yeah.
They did the Dr.
gotta pay the
Dolittle
bills.
remake. They did George of the Jungle, which that's not a terrible movie now that I remember it. It's basically a mix of a puppet and computers. So at some point the snowman falls apart,
Yeah.
and then because this movie's not creepy enough, the ball number 2 and 3 become sentient. He's literally like talking
it
to
is-
them.
it is
He gets hit
creepy.
by the snowplow, which again is a great callback that I didn't realize. and then he separates into like he's just a head, and then it's the torso ball and the leg balls. He's like, "Hey, number 3, get over here," and the ball takes on a different personality. So already, and this is like right after he's become a snowman. So already I'm confused as to like, does he not have control over ball 2 and 3?
Those are 2 other kids, dead dads that drew the short
Right?
straws.
Are those 2 other dead
They got a
dads
really
and
crappy deal. They don't get to see their kids.
Now they have to work together. Is he like
One of them's the
Voltron?
bully's dad.
I think maybe the best part of the movie is who's that guy? He's famous, but I can't remember who actors are. Like he plays the hockey coach.
Oh, Henry Rollins. What the hell is Henry Rollins doing in this?
Yeah.
That's
I
wild,
know.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. You were saying.
No, he has a couple, like at least one part where he genuinely makes me laugh. But yeah,
Oh
like,
yeah, he's funny.
yeah.
I know.
He's
I thought
funny,
he did
but-
a good job.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
hmm
No, go ahead.
Like,
Oh no,
he's
I was done saying.
he's funny, but I'm a punk head, and I'm like, what is Henry Rollins doing in this movie?
I know it's
He's
It's like,
strange.
was Jello
Strange.
Biafra not available? Like who? Again, I'm not knocking him. He has one of the high points of the movie, but I just can't get over.
Yeah, I don't know how
Like,
he
what is
wound
he
up
doing
in
in
the
this
the
movie?
Mr. Show. People wound up. It's just it's a strange confluence of things.
I think he's just because he's very good at yelling, and they needed a loud dad character to set up the whole hockey.
Yeah, that's
There's
also
like 3 or
makes
4
sense.
subplots, and one was the hockey subplot.
I think when Henry Rollins shows up in a movie, it's because
he's
like
Henry
the director or
Rollins.
somebody thinks like, man, I love Henry Rollins and he's badass, and I want to ask him to be in this because here's my chance to get to do something with him.
It's not,
And that's
yeah.
kind of it.
That
I
makes
think, I
sense.
think they just reach out and they say, hey, I don't think an agent's sending auditions out to him on a regular basis. I think from time to time somebody will ask him, hey, I love you, I love your music, I think you're awesome, I'm making a movie, would you please be in it?
Yeah, it's not so much. I get why they asked him. I guess I don't understand why he accepted.
Yeah,
Honey,
I don't know. Nick,
Did he just not see the thing?
The
Script or whatever.
script drew people in with a strange
Yes.
magnetism,
Mm,
and then they got there and they're like, what is this?
right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lisa.
Oh no, you're good. When I was watching it with my husband, he was like, you can tell, it's Henry Rollins because, he's not an actor and it's obvious. And I was like, I don't know, the energy that he's giving in that scene doesn't seem that different to me from some of the movies of that time. I don't think that
Mm.
No,
that he
no, they
requires
needed
more-
a
yeah.
big, loud, stereotypical coach character.
he does
Yeah.
fine.
He does
you know,
fine in it, but he's just got, again, like great people are involved. There's just nothing to work with.
I've seen people that are actors that do worse. Like we just watched.
No, totally.
you know,
It wasn't a
we
great-
we
yeah.
love doing the cheesy Christmas movies here. The Hallmark, it's they're so bad.
Oh,
and
yeah, they're
so
so
fun
great.
to watch. And we just watched a real gem that was called A Carol Christmas. And it was a play on a Christmas Carol, but it was really ripping off Scrooge more than anything because she's a talk show host, so they're doing the whole TV studio thing.
Hmm,
And it stars Tori Spelling,
interesting.
and
Okay.
she is so bad. And
Oh, we have to do this one for
you
the
couldn't
stream.
see any, there was just nothing in her eyes the whole time when she was supposed to be mean, when she's supposed to be scared. She's saying lines, but that's it. She's saying lines. And then at the end, when you're supposed to see like the, filled with joy part, she's acting happy kind of, but again, she's saying the happy lines and raising her voice, but there's nothing happening in the eyes. And right after that, we watched the George C. Scott Christmas Carol because I had never seen that.
Oh, that's a great one.
And him at the end, like his eyes, I told my kids, that's what was missing from the other one. Look at
Mhm.
that. Like this guy, it looks sincerely full of joy.
Yeah.
And so
Hmm.
Henry Rollins, better than people that have had leading roles in movies and have been on TV.
Yeah, totally. Like
Yeah,
Decades.
like
it's totally just a fandom, a
Rollins.
nerdy
brings it.
fandom thing on my end of like, why is he?
Oh
in
yeah,
this?
yeah.
He was in Black Flag. Damn it!
This
A
is-
TV
it
party
deserves
tonight.
better.
One of my favorites. Sorry, go ahead, Liz.
This is extremely random. It's a bit off topic because it's going back to Thanksgiving movies, but like about people who aren't really actors acting. We watched a like Thanksgiving slasher movie a few weeks ago called Home Sweet Home.
Yes.
And
Mm.
the main character, one of the main characters was the killer who was a very buff dude, and he was a celebrity personal trainer or something,
Yeah,
and like
Body
a
by Jake.
body by yeah.
If you look it up, like he was like his star was high in the like late 80s,
Yeah, or like
90s.
just like a public figure, but like God,
Yeah.
Not an
it was
actor.
terrible.
Like
Like, but I couldn't tell if it was him or the direction. Like, he's just
Yeah.
like gleefully laughing and stabbing people, like gleefully laughing all the. I
mhm.
love that movie now. I don't know. There's something compelling about
Sometimes
it.
it's really hard to tell what they were thinking. But
Yes.
Right.
yeah.
That's a funny one because it just starts at 10.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it
most horror
starts
movies
with like
build up to it, and that one's just like
he's hauling a
that's
guy out of a car.
yeah, it literally like a minute into the movie, he's pulling a guy out of a car and strangling him.
Well, you get
And
like
then the
you
credits
get
roll.
monos for like 3 minutes, and then it goes to
Yeah,
10.
yeah. There's a lot. There's an extended driving to the cabin that has no electricity or
And,
phones.
and then you can't see a lot of the second half of the movie because the lighting is
Oh
so
yeah.
bad, but it's still a great movie, and I recommend Home Sweet
You're like,
Home
I
to everyone
defend it with
listening to
my
this
life.
I don't know
No,
why.
no, it's totally like
It's
it's
my
a
new
cheesy
Mac
horror
and
movie.
Me. I don't.
Mac and Me. Oh yeah, I'll never forget. You're the Mac and Me stan for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dear Maccabee.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we've talked about this yet, but also I think the budget for this movie was like 85 million, Jack Frost. But it made, I
Mm.
think like what was it, like 34 million
Oh,
or
it tanks
40,
hard.
something like
Yeah.
Oh
that.
no.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was very, very
Like word
not
got
well
out
received.
early that like it was bad.
Like
I
if
remember
the trailer
hear
didn't do that for you
I remember
already.
hearing about it, like somebody going, "It's not as bad as you think. It's worse."
Oh my gosh. Okay, well.
And it was like word of mouth just totally killed it. And of course, the commercials and the trailers.
I
Like,
don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it even needed word of mouth. I remember at the time
I mean,
being
it didn't help it.
maybe close to the target age, but like I remember seeing the ads and everything and just thinking this looks terrible.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And if I
Yes.
could tell that as a kid, then yeah, it's not good for a movie.
Mhm.
Yeah. I feel like this got played a lot though on like the Disney Channel and stuff like that. Like I feel like after it came out, I still every once in a while it would pop back up. Maybe because the
forget what
rights were cheaper.
studio it
so.
I
was.
mean, I saw it like when once it was out on home video. I don't remember if we rented it, like if my
I
sister rented it, or I don't know. I remember I saw it. It might have
yeah,
just been on
I
TV.
watched it last night, I believe on Disney Plus.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, well,
Yeah.
Disney
Oh,
owns. It's probably
yeah.
a Fox movie, and now Disney
Yeah.
picked
That's
it up.
probably right.
I wish I'd researched like, or I don't know how much info is out there about like sincere fans of this movie.
I know.
Because like a coworker happened to see an ad for our show last year. I was like, okay, it's good. He saw it, but he was like, oh, I saw Jack Frost and I like Jack Frost, and then I saw your name and I was like, I want to say like you're a rational, smart human being. You like Jack Frost. He's got a whole bunch of kids, so I don't know if it's a thing where you like it because your kids like it, or
Oh,
Yeah, or
like yeah, like
nostalgia,
I don't know.
like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
nostalgia maybe. Yeah.
is your
I mean,
kid there,
yeah.
Albie?
Yeah, they're here. I mean, I think that nostalgia is just a factor in that when you like
Yeah.
something when
Can
you're
you
a
go get one
kid-
of them and have him explain to us why he likes this? I'm
Oh,
genuinely.
I'm not gonna do that.
Okay,
Don't do that.
But I know that it's. I can
I
tell you
didn't think
what
you would.
I know what they like about it.
Okay.
I mean, they do like this idea of getting a second chance to spend time with their dad when they thought they wouldn't,
No,
and
I
then a
get that.
chance for the dad to give a proper goodbye instead of just kind of going off and disappearing and never coming back. There's they
makes
like,
sense.
and then Charlie especially loves all the like when anything that makes him laugh he loves, and
Sure.
he
Yeah.
genuinely loves the snowboard chase is very funny to him. And then he's also really sensitive to the dramatic stuff, when the saying goodbye and all that. So he feels all the emotions that this movie wants you to feel. He is just really sensitive, so it really hits all the spots for him that he likes. So
Okay.
that's
It's
kind of
Charlie's
for him.
Mac
I
and
didn't
Me
mean, like,
kind. I
oh.
get it. I get it.
Mhm.
And I didn't mean like, can you grab him so I can freaking
No,
talk some
like,
sense into it? Like, I didn't mean it like that.
okay,
I
like,
No, I
genuinely
know
wanted
what
to
you
know.
just
I know what you meant.
Yeah.
I just
It was funny the way I
No, not necessarily like because yeah, thinking about my coworker, maybe he was like a bit younger than I was and like more in that
Mm.
target demographic because that like that can change things a lot how you perceive it, like how old you are when it comes out and stuff like that.
Oh,
Or when you first see
100%.
it. Yeah.
And once you like it as a kid, like that kind of doesn't go away. Like there are movies that I
Mhm.
from my
Right.
childhood that I know are not good, but I still like them because I liked them when I was a kid.
Yeah, I
And when
had
you
a.
mentioned
Right.
It
that,
happens.
Oh, go
oh,
ahead.
well, I was gonna say when Albie mentioned that about his kid liking it and having to watch it, I'm thinking back to the movies I made my dad take me to, and the one that stuck out for me was the Beverly Hillbillies. I really
I did,
wanted to see that
yeah, I liked
because I
that when I
love
was a
Jim
kid.
Varney, and I
I
was
never
like,
saw it.
it's okay.
That was
Like it's a
pretty good.
TV remake. It's what
Mhm.
you expect. It's
Mhm.
Jim Varney kind of steals the whole thing because
I love Jim Varney.
he plays Jed Clampett with like this odd um seriousness. Like he knows what
Right.
kind of movie he's in, but he plays it so well that you kind of are like, I kind of like, and then it goes off into like weird subplot. Like Barnaby Jones shows up. Like they try to make a whole joke about like, oh, there's other TV shows we can link this universe to, and I remember my dad just actively hating that movie. He taught my Sunday school class, and the Sunday we saw that movie, he just laid into it in front of the whole class.
Oh my
He just
gosh.
for like a good 5 minutes he talked about why he hated this movie.
I don't recall it that much, but did it have the vibe that like the Brady Bunch movie had?
Kinda. I thought it was better than that,
Yeah, it
but I,
was. It kind of got what the
personally,
show was about. First of all, it didn't have very far to go because the show. I look at it now
There's
and
like
it's
no
really
plot.
corny.
Yeah,
Like the original TV show, it's like it's
yeah.
funny, but it's really like of its
It's kind
time.
of dumb. Yeah, yeah.
And they try to bring that into the modern age, but there's a lot of good comedy performances. So like Jim Varney's good. Dietrich Dietrich Bader plays Jethro, and then true to the show plays Jethro's twin sister.
Oh wow.
This is how much I know about TV. I forget what the sister's name is, but he does what the TV show does, which is like let's bring a sister on, but make it look like the brother.
Yeah. Always
Yeah.
do.
all I really
It's a
remember is
weird.
that lady pretending to be French and the dirty
Oh
joke with
yeah,
her
Leah Thompson.
accent. Yeah,
Leah Thompson is trying to what's the term?
get their money, gold dig
Yeah, she's a
something.
gold
Yeah.
digger pretending to be a French woman, and Rob Schneider's involved somehow.
Oh,
Who
okay.
really
Yeah.
has? I mean, that just says it all.
Eh, there are
It's
so
funny. There
many.
was a
Anyway, I didn't mean to go off on
No,
oh,
you're good. You're
I was
good.
going to say
that.
very quickly since the Brady Bunch movie got mentioned that there was a like on TikTok these videos going around for a while that were showing clips from the Brady Bunch movie
Mm.
Mm.
from younger people that did not get the joke, and they were basically posting these clips and going, "Oh my gosh, look at how cringy movies were in the '90s. This is how did anyone
I
Oh
think it was
no.
Mm.
like they just
or
thought that
thinking it was the
that
real
was
Brady Bunch too.
yeah, that was nuts. It was very crazy.
You guys, there are layers to things sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah, media literacy is not everybody's strong suit. Yeah, but to your earlier point about, liking stuff a lot when you're the right age range for it. I mean, I
Mm.
had a friend who is no longer with us, but I remember finding out that he, hated the Goonies. And he's like, "Oh, it's just a bunch of
Mm.
children screaming for an hour and a half." And I'm like, "No, it's like really good." And then realizing that that's true, that like a lot of people that were a little bit older than me like think that movie's kind of cringy and like not enjoyable. And I'm like, so that's absolutely a thing. Like where if you
Yeah.
grew up at the right demographic for it, you love it. If
Mhm.
not, like I've never seen Halloween Town. I was like a little bit too old. That was Hocus Pocus for me. So it's kind of it's when
Mm.
you grew up, I think sometimes too, that influences how you feel about a film.
And see, that's another thing. I thought Hocus Pocus was not great, but I didn't see it until a couple years ago, and I was like, it's
Well,
okay.
it's
Right.
The way everybody like holds it up, I think
it's
it's like
strange.
I don't get that,
And
but
honestly, I think
fine.
a lot of it is because of the life that it had on the Disney Channel. Like it
Mm.
played over and over and over
Mm.
again. And so that's how I saw it. And I was like, oh, I like this. Then when you think about how popular like High School Musical is, and like it's the same director, like
Yeah, that's true.
there in that people that grew up with High School Musical, like it's going to get those people, you know. But I agree, actually, you know, I don't want anyone to send death threats, but I think Hocus Pocus is fine. I think it's strange that it's become like, oh my God, this is the quintessential Halloween film. Like it was like a borderline made for TV movie quality movie to me. But sure, it's the best movie ever. I don't know. But yeah, point
Yeah.
is
I mean,
like
that's how they make up for movies that tank in the theater back then. Was
Yeah.
they could play it on TV endlessly,
exactly like so
and
there's just,
if it's families like that can watch it together, then like it's gonna make a ton of money
yeah.
Well, it's crazy because that's how some movies become classics.
on TV. Yeah, yeah.
I remember hearing and being shocked that "It's a Wonderful Life" was just not well received,
Oh
and
no, that was a
it came and
huge
went, and
bomb.
like people didn't care for much. And then as it played on TV every year because they could do it for cheap or free or whatever,
Mhm.
then everybody like came to love it. But it was not well received. I think Wizard of Oz, I remember hearing, didn't do great until afterward, which is all just sounds
Super
crazy to me.
interesting.
Yeah, although that didn't happen for Jack Frost. Sadly, it has not gone on
Yeah,
to be
it's like that.
continued.
It's not there's like fans, but it's not like a huge cult hit. That like phenomenon is interesting to me.
But
Like,
didn't one of
yeah.
us have someone that was like not the person you mentioned earlier, but like someone? I swear one of us was like knows someone that would like absolutely loves this movie. Was like it
I don't remember.
totally
I
got
don't
it.
know
Maybe
anyone.
that was the person you were talking
I know,
about.
like Super Mario Brothers is definitely a cult
Yes, I was gonna
classic
say.
Which
now.
I
So there's
didn't
movies
know.
like that. I didn't know
That
that
one blew me
either.
away.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know
It
there
kind of
was a
makes sense to me
website.
now.
I didn't know there
It's
was a guy that
it,
collected all the prop. Well, no, I didn't know
it's
that,
getting a
but
big new release, like a 4K release.
yeah, this is the 30th or 25th year. That's why we
So
can't get
crazy.
it.
Yeah,
The
I
year
mean, I
we got
guess
it was we got it right before the new Super Mario came out, and the next we were like, we want to do this again. There's like we can't get it.
wow.
That's
Yeah,
why
They're
those
like
well,
those those
yeah.
Disney won't
re-release
give it up.
plans were underway.
So you're
It
welcome,
went back
Disney.
in the vault. Used to hate that Disney vault.
God, I
Mm.
know.
Like every time I wanted a movie, it was in the vault somehow. It's out of the vault for a week. It's back in the vault. I hated that. For younger fans, if you haven't heard about that,
Right.
growing up, Disney used to release films for DVD, VHS, whatever, but make it a very limited window of time. And it seemed really arbitrary and random. And so it was, you know, like you'd go to rent a movie and like it didn't exist right now for whatever reason Disney decided. I
Yeah,
don't know
it
if they're
was like
still doing
It was basically a hostage situation.
Yeah.
forced
Just,
scarcity
you want to
or
see
whatever.
Cinderella? We'll get it now because it's not going to be
Yeah.
here in a week.
It's
Yeah.
Disney's McRib. It's what it is.
It is.
Yeah. Give it to us.
It's the Cartman. It's the Cartman Land strategy. It's
Yeah.
we've got Cinderella and Snow White, and guess what? You can't watch it.
We've got him in a
Okay.
vault. We're keeping him hostage.
I want to
Charlie
do it.
was so upset last year when they said that McRib, like they said, all right, guys, get it now because yes, we bring it back every year, but this is it. After this year, we're not bringing it back. Like this is gonna.
Oh yeah,
we're done with it. And like
Right.
we went one time to like when it was about to end and they were out and they said we didn't have them anymore and he was so upset. And guess what? I pulled up to McDonald's a couple days ago.
yeah. It's back.
McRib's back.
It's kind of
There's
cruel.
no rhyme
He's
or
not-
reason to it.
It is.
It's
It really is.
stupid.
Yes. Well, what else haven't we talked about this movie yet, or are we getting close to the
We
end
haven't
of our
talked about the
conversation?
political angle of this movie. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
Actually,
Draw
we
a
kind of
parallel
did with the
between
Jay Johnston stuff.
Well, that's that's
That's the joke.
That's the only political joke. The intro we wrote for this is really good.
I think
Um,
it's one of our best ever intros.
I finally get to do a song,
very fun,
which I've been
very
begging
fun.
them to do.
Oh, you do a song.
I get to do
Wow.
a song, yeah, which
I'm
is fun for
excited.
me. Which is funny because 3 years ago, if I had to do a song, like I was terrified. I'd run out of the room.
Mhm.
Liz has seen me do this when we did. Liz and I met doing improv, and I don't. Every improviser wants to do something musical, and I hated musicals. Now I kind of like them. I did a couple of them, and I was like, okay, I get why this is fun. And like, if they were like, okay, we're gonna do this dance number, I would just get up and leave. That's
Oh,
how
and I get to do,
I don't know what the phobia name is for it, but I have it. And
It's
so that
understandable.
was a big deal for me, was like doing a song was like, okay, I kind of knocked this off my
he loves them.
psyche list.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
now I'm like, let's
Grown
do another
as a
song. Let's write. I want to do a big musical number.
Another fun thing in this one is that I get to do some harmonica playing whenever
Oh yeah,
Oh.
every
yeah.
time
That's
that the
right.
boy lifts
Yeah.
that little harmonica up to his lips and kind of blows on it. I'll do a little harmonica riff into the microphone. It
So.
gets a good audience response. I'm a harmonica player, and it's funny you were saying earlier about harmonica kind of had its heyday in the '90s. I've got in front of me immediately. I've got 3 harmonicas here, and then I've got like 3 in a case over here, and
I
then
get that.
my backpack's got like 6 of them.
Really?
That's
Oh, yeah.
wow. I didn't know you were
I
that
should've-
deep. But that's cool.
I should
Yeah,
have
they're all
asked
because
you
they're all
to
different keys and whatnot.
show us like a little harmonica playing because that's really interesting.
He can
Yeah, I was
play, and I
like,
was like,
wait a
"Why didn't you
minute,
tell
is
me
this a
this
raise?
before? We could have done 8 musical numbers by now." I get manic. This is a running gag, and every show is the week before the show. I get the biggest idea I've ever had that could not possibly be pulled off, even if we had a
Yeah.
major studio, and I pitch it just to get it out of my system.
You're our oh, what is his name? You're our why can't I think of it? Apocalypse Now director. Why is the name not coming to me?
Coppola?
Yeah, you're our you're our Coppola.
Oh, would he do that? I didn't know. Yeah, that was the thing.
Well,
for him.
this Apocalypse Now that was like famously like a week behind production, just a couple days in or something like that, and they were, millions over budget, just less than a month into production. Like it was just he kept getting these large ideas and putting them in, and just everybody it was just killing them.
Was one of them was one of those ideas? Let's make it about Vietnam.
Yes.
Oh no.
It was originally about this kid's dad who dies and comes back as a snowman.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about him. Okay, then I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, there you go. You're just
There
a
you
big
go.
ideas person, and that's
Mhm.
great. We haven't really talked yet about how to get tickets for this. So do y'all want to?
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, no,
yeah.
you're good.
It's at the Texas Theater, so go to the THETexasTheater.com or just Google Texas Theater, it'll come up. And you can buy them at the theater. We recommend you buy them now because they, holiday movies tend to go fast, and we expect a big one for this.
This is true.
I think they're $14 a piece. 14? Yeah. But you get a bag of props like always. And because it's Christmas, we're gonna put a gift card in one of them.
Ooh.
So you could win money. You can't go looking through the bags before you just got to pick one up. And
Don't
go.
assume that.
No, I'm gonna assume that because I'm
You're
gonna
gonna
make
assume.
whoever wins this is gonna earn it. I'm happy to give money away, but it's funny to me. If it's funny to me, I really kind of want to watch somebody like looking through bags, and so I can go over what you doing,
what you doing there, bub?
right? And we have some other fun stuff that's planned for this one. But yeah, if you go to thetexastheater.com and just click on the date, which is December 29th. It's a Sunday. What
Is it
day is
7
Christmas is
p.m.?
Thursday. So
I
yeah,
believe.
7 p.m. on
Oh.
December 29th.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they gave us a great prime spot. And I
Yeah,
think we're
and
in the upstairs theater.
Ooh.
And yeah, that's pretty much, yeah. So
That's
And just-
great.
be prepared to have fun and yell stuff and throw stuff. And, it's always a good show. Texas Theater has always been very good to us about letting
Yes.
us do what we want, and then realizing we probably shouldn't have done that. But they're, have I told I don't mean to get off on a tangent, but I love the Reefer Madness
Oh,
story.
it's a fun show.
I don't
They
I
let
don't
us
know that
do
you
crazy stuff. So the second time we did it,
yes, that's
we
a great
did it on
story.
420. Second time we did Reefer Madness, we did it on 420, and this is Albie's idea. But I'll take credit for the screw up because I didn't know about it. There's a little like room next to the front of the screen, And so we thought it's Reefer Madness. So what if we like fill that room with smoke or fog and open the door and like fog pours out and then we walk out and it's, oh, we're high, get it? And I'm like, yes. And then I wasn't going to do it, but then I looked at Amazon and they're like really cheap. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. So we go to the theater and we start filling the room up. And this is like the cheapest thing ever. It won't.
And we asked about this
Oh, and we did.
beforehand.
I remember I asked. I was like, is it okay if we do this? Because like, it doesn't make real smoke. But apparently, I that night I learned how fire alarms work. Fire alarms can't smell smoke. They just if there's something in the air that looks like smoke, it goes
Oh.
off. And so we fill the room up and the show starts and we open the door and the fog mixture is so cheap nobody can even see the smoke. And we literally run out and go, "Hey everybody, welcome to the show." Whoop. Whoop. Like literally.
They're playing the
Oh,
new
boy.
Evil Dead movie at the time, I think, in the theater downstairs,
Oh,
mind
no.
you.
Yes.
And
And I
everyone has to evacuate. But
and
it's
that was another thing I learned when an alarm goes off in a movie theater. It's not just the theater that gets evacuated; it's the whole theater. So, so downstairs, I had a friend that was watching Evil Dead Rise, and he said the movie ends with the title, and then it just cuts to black. Well, right when the title comes up, that's when the alarm goes off and shuts down the projector, and everybody
Oh,
just
boy.
screamed.
we got
Because
they
so
weren't-
lucky
they
with that
thought it-
timing. I
they
still
thought it was
thank
the movie.
God that
Yeah, they would have had to like refund everybody.
yeah, yeah,
and
we
Yeah,
got
back then,
so
thank
right?
lucky.
God. Like,
Yeah.
it was like literally right because then I realized because then that's when the projectionist tells me, yeah, the whole theater gets shut down.
Oh my gosh. Did the fire truck
Yes,
come or-
Yes,
so we had-
firefighters start
we
coming
had
in,
to
and I-
stand there.
Oh.
Go ahead, Liz. I'll let you.
No,
tell
I
us.
just remember thinking that firefighter's very attractive. Like my mind registered that, and it's like, oh my God, it's a firefighter. This is real.
You're over here
Show
swooning.
here again.
and yeah, we have to like vamp the whole time to wait for them to come back. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
Yeah.
and it was
We-
probably I don't know if I was funny or not because I think I said about 5 times I hope I don't get fined for this. And I mean,
know,
it
and
all
we-
it all turned out fine.
We
Like,
had
it's-
like a sponsor with those like California
oh
I feel like we
God,
should give
yeah,
him a shout out. Yeah, there were drinks with CBD, California Sober, Cali Sober, something like that.
yeah.
And I was just like I popped one
I was like,
open
"Give
and
me
started
one."
chugging it at some point. Oh God. But it all turned out okay in the end.
It turned out
Oh,
fine.
good.
But so
Yeah.
that's the worst. That we can't do any worse than that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, don't say that. I mean, I'm gonna knock on wood over here in case.
Hey guys, what if we bring a snow machine into the theater?
Yeah. What if we just
No, mister.
start a small fire? Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just love
don't do
telling that
that.
story because it's
That's
a great
pretty
because it's-
funny.
every step of the way, like we thought we were doing the right thing, and then we realized, oh, that's not how they work.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I learned something new today. I mean,
Yes.
Yes, now you
Yeah.
know.
I used to work at a place that would one time the fire alarm went off, the whole building was evacuated, and everyone
Yeah.
was like, I feel the flames, it's real. And I thought, I think it's because a pipe burst. Because in like buildings, sometimes that'll happen, like a pipe burst, a sparkler. Because I lived in an apartment where that happened all the time, you
Mm.
know, usually at 2 or 3 a.m. We're all evacuated and it was a sparkler or something that went off. It's like
Yeah.
they don't have different alarms for different things. They just have one alarm for every emergency. So yeah, it's interesting how these things work. But yeah, well, anything else that we haven't covered?
We every year during Christmas we do streams on Twitch of holiday movies. We call it Christmas Until It Kills Us.
Nice.
And somebody mentioned Home Sweet Home. Liz mentioned Home Sweet Home. That's a Thanksgiving movie, but we're now in the Christmas phase of holiday movies. And
So
we just-
tune in
what was the
on,
yeah, every Wednesday at
Wednesday
8 p.m.
at 8
on
p.m.
Twitch, twitch.tv
Central
slash
Standard Time.
right.
Yes.
Oh, on twitch.tv slash the Monkey Horror Picture Show. Do
Nice.
live riffs. And announce stuff about the show. I forget what the movie we're. Somebody mentioned the movie that we were going to do. No, well, if you go to our website, makiehorror.com, it'll take you to everything.
Okay.
So you can see what we're doing. But yeah, that's pretty, and we'll do that every Wednesday up until the show.
No, good to know. Well,
So-
I will definitely look for that link on your website and drop that in my show notes as
Cool,
well.
thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you so
well,
much. Yeah.
Thank
Thank
y'all
you.
so much for coming on. This is great. And, obviously hope to have y'all back soon. And it sounds like it's
Yeah.
going to be a fun event.
Hope to see you at the show.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks.